Hi guys, welcome back and welcome to the latest edition of Pull the Pin, the Grenade podcast with me, Alan Barrett. And this week we've got a special treat for you because we've got none other than the Haskells.
Oh, hi, or do we say hi there? Hi.
I didn't know you said it was Alan Barrett.
Really?
Well, you love guns, so Barrett. I did know it started, but we just know as Alan Grenade,
Alan
Mr. Grenade, Senor Grenade.
That twat from Grenade, yeah, knob end.
Glad you said it. I mean,
yeah, you're all thinking it. Right, so we are pulling the pin on the Haskells. Just to give a brief intro, because let's face it, no one's going to know who they are. We've got international rugby, it says here rugby legend, not sure that's true. International rugby legend. Former, yeah. Turned MMA fighter. He's never had a fight, but he's an MMA fighter. Does that mean I'm an MMA fighter as well, probably? by default?
I have actually had some fights. I have some fights in training, so technically I haven't.
No problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's
technicality.
A bit. I'm a technical fight. I'm sort of a fight. I don't know what I am. I'm sort of DJ / speaker fighter.
I want to know, he's injured again, apparently. We'll get onto that later. He's the self-proclaimed Archbishop of Banterbury. It's only bloody James Haskell.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
I know, sorry. Yeah.
Banter needs to die.
I know. Yeah, not to be outdone by that, she's a top personal trainer. Not sure that's true, but anyway, she's says here she's a top. I did write this. She's a top personal trainer. She always looks amazing. She keeps James in line. Let's face it, he's terrified of her. She's written 80,000 books on diet and training. it's only Chloe Madeley.
Hey.
Hello. Guys, thanks so much for doing this. I've been looking forward to this one for ages. God knows why. Be yourselves. I know you will be. Loads to talk about. James has got a shoot in about 8 minutes, so we're going to chew through this as fast as we can. But you probably know what it is now with Pull the Pin. It's business, brand and banter. It's a very clever combination of what I like to call wall-to-wall wisdom, but with utter shite mixed in. Really, it's genius. We're going to
You're a bit like a poor man's Gordon Gekko, aren't you, Alan? Really, like it's sort
I don't know
of
what
like
that is, but
the Aldi of the Gordon Gekko world, like not quite Wall Street, sort of just a fence in a garden somewhere.
I like to think of myself as a very low-end Alan Partridge.
Yes, yes, you
Everyone
are.
says that
You
about
are.
my dad.
I was joking.
Your
but
autobiography would be me, Alan, and I, or something like that. Yeah, it is. You are Alan Partridge. I've just realised.
I've got feelings, you know. Right. Okay. So let's start with you, Chloe. Okay. So welcome. Thanks, guys, for doing this. As I said, lots and lots and lots of stuff to get through. Now, you've obviously just written your 700th book, something like that. Just launched. How's it doing so far? I've not read it.
Really
I've got no intention of reading it. But
it's absolutely fine. I think, given your resources and seeing your home gym, that you pretty much know what you're doing.
That's not true, but I'll take it.
It's good. It's my third book. I've written 4 now, but the 4th is yet to be released. And
am I in that one?
No.
I mean, any of them.
Yet. Actually, you are, because I use Grenade products in some of the recipes, and it's a recipe book.
No, I mean me personally.
Oh, no,
so this isn't about Grenade.
There's
now.
no
It's all about
to
me. Let's
Do you
face
want to
it.
be on the acknowledgements page?
I want to be on the front cover.
Can you imagine? Just you in the background smiling.
Yeah,
on
the
the
business
front cover.
manager, he'll pay.
But no, Grenade actually is, and Grenade is your love child.
Yeah. So. Can I pay to be on the front cover?
Yes.
And the answer to your agent is yes.
Yes. How much are we talking here?
It's dirty. We don't want to talk online about it.
I'll pay you in Grenade branded M&Ms.
I will take chocolate, always.
Lovely.
Chocolate over everything, wasn't it?
Yes, but no,
everything.
we're actually cash over everything in the real world.
In the real world, now you're not in the jungle starving.
Yeah,
money talks, Alan.
Fuck that noise. Cash money's all.
Yeah, it's going really well. It's my third book that's been released. It's a weightlifting book, which is the first time my publishers let me release a weightlifting book, because apparently it's quote unquote too niche.
Because it's scary.
But it's already selling really, really well. So that makes me feel quite prideful.
There can't still be people out there that think that weights are bad for women.
No, it's
not.
Be. I don't think that people think it's bad for women. I think that women are still a lot, unfortunately, I'm not trying to generalise here, but being working in the industry for 8 years, I've seen it firsthand. A lot of women are still terrified to go into the gym and truly believe that the weight section
people like James
is for
are in
them.
there, that's why.
Yeah, it is true, but I also
Sexual
feel like...
predators.
That's why I'm married.
Allegedly, Alan. Allegedly. Come on.
That was never proven.
You know, exactly. You know, you've got a bit of cash, but one more bit of slant and the lawyer will be on the blower. Allegedly. You know, I was just known as the cuddler. What can I say?
The cuddler. Oh my God. Oh, gross.
Yeah. I've got to say, sorry, James was really concerned a minute ago that Chloe knows a way around my house really well.
Yeah. She walked straight in and she connected to the Wi-Fi automatically. Chloe, you haven't been here before. How did you do that? Or the gatekeeper.
Well, actually,
Miss Madeley, good to see you again.
She went straight to her drawer.
Are we allowed to talk about why, or are we waiting to release this?
No. We can talk about why. Absolutely. Yeah, you fire away.
I filmed with Grenade my Amazon Prime series in this very house.
Yeah, that's where she was that week.
Yeah.
So
It did
Came back very tired and sweaty every day. That's
wasn't Chloe in the Amazon, but she's in a loincloth swinging through the trees and
Oh my God,
No, that was me.
This is just going to be banter back and
No,
forth.
sorry.
I'm collateral
Talk about
in the
Amazon.
middle.
Amazon.
Yeah, so that's why. That was it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We have your Body Blast on Amazon coming out.
I know,
yeah, it's out now actually.
Is it?
It looks brilliant.
Bloody hell, I didn't know it was out now.
Yeah, I might be doing it. Yeah, it's out and it looks amazing.
Good,
So,
I can't wait. Yeah. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's at home fat loss workouts and nutrition as well, because I feel like obviously with all the workout DVDs of yore, they are all just really focused on what to do in your living room, but there's never anything on nutrition, and we all know how unbelievably important that is when it comes to A, being healthy, and B, being physique minded.
And actually, we'll put a link to it actually, guys, on with this podcast. But yeah, that'll do really well, I think.
I hope so.
On Amazon. Yeah, absolutely. So James is sitting there very quietly. He's wondering when. Let's face it, it's all about him.
Not that quiet.
He's wondering when I'm going to get to him. But James, just out of I'm a Celeb. Are you sick of talking about it? I'm going to ask you about it anyway.
Do you know what? It's like lots of parts of my life, like the rugby kind of stuff happened, and it's like
you played rugby.
That's what I was going to say. Honestly, it's like I never did before. I don't really feel like I ever played. I don't really have anything to do with rugby.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
Are you
really.
surprised?
I am surprised, but I think it's because I've kept moving on to something different all the time. And my interest kind of, I exhausted that to the nth degree. I couldn't have done any more. My body gave up. So I then went into something else. I don't want to be into coaching. I don't want to do anything along those lines. So I've kind of removed myself from that area. I'm now going back to being a professional sportsman again. This MMA stuff with Bellator has kind of taken over my life, and I'm now, traveling to and from Northampton every day. I'm in training 2.5 hours. You've got a 2 hours commute either way. I'm, recovering on my days off, physio 4 times a week. Chloe's done all my calories and stuff again. I'm having to eat and train, and it's sort of fully changed what I'm doing. My other kind of passions are really the DJing stuff, which is what I really want to do. But again, you've kind of got the battle about trying to be taken seriously, because I'm not, but you get that in celeb DJ kind of inverted commas. But the I'm a Celeb thing was fantastic. But again, that's done now. The only thing that's very different is that people seem to recognise me wherever I go. And I'm now, someone came up to the other day and was like, are you James from I'm a Celeb? So that's what my life is defined now by. I'm not James the rugby player, not James the fighter, James the DJ.
What would you rather be remembered as out of interest? Have you got a preference? Would you rather be...
I just think it's quite nice that people even want to come and talk to me, really. I'm not worried about that.
I've got no idea why.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
I guarantee they're disappointed.
It's the transition from going from being something Monday through Sunday to now doing what I've done for the last forever, which is being self-employed. It's really jarring, and it's really weird and crazy. But then on the plus side, you actually have a much more flexible schedule to be able to do the other stuff that you love, like DJ, travel, all that stuff. But yeah, it is a transition.
I was just going to say something, because I didn't want to be interrupted Chloe when she's talking about her book stuff.
Doesn't stop me.
Transform Your Body with Weights. Is that I think it's really interesting, the journey that she's gone on with the book she's got and this new one, where everybody now trains to a certain degree. There is this level of fear, but again, for me, and I'm in a beautiful position these days where I have no boss. I have nobody. I don't care whether people like me or don't like me. I mean, I'm a celeb.
You
did you ever?
Well, no, I did. I did. No, sorry.
Does.
Yeah, that's the stupid thing. Everybody always cares what people say, but I'm not frightened about having an opinion anymore, because where people might go, oh, you might offend people. Everyone in 2019 or 2020, everyone's default position is I'm offended. Change my mind. So in regards to I'm a Celeb, I ruined Christmas for everybody. I upset people with special needs. I was a bully. I was everything you could possibly imagine, and all the good positive stuff out the back of it. Not a team player, funny, whatever. But what I'm really interested about is the media stuff in regards to health, fitness and training, because in that TV show, it became abundantly clear that nobody had any idea about nutrition. And I was lied to by the people on the TV show. I was lied to by and lied to you throughout naivety, I think, that they thought 4 spoonfuls of brown rice and 4 spoonfuls of beans at lunch and breakfast was 700 calories. Then you win the Dingo Dollar challenges, you get half a wagon wheel, and then you go and win food in the evening. It's vegetables, carbohydrates, and a very low fatty meat. You're probably getting to 800 with all that. They reckon you're getting to 1,500. So people were starving. Yeah. You then look at the real world, what Chloe's trying to do with her book, and how, you know, her first 2 books are bestsellers, and absolutely killed it. But they were playing on a theme that was, you know, people want these short-term fixes, people are lazy, people are whatever, and she did it in such a way that she guaranteed people incredible results. She's gone now and done something really remarkable, yet you get the likes of Women's Health, who will only put people on the cover that are this perceived accessible stuff. Yeah. This, you know, Chloe does a photo shoot with someone, and they're physically airbrushing her down. And it's bullshit. It's, you know, life's
making her shorter.
yeah. Taking a couple of inches off her. They did that to me. And I was still.
To me, they always have to reduce the guns.
Yeah,
they have the guns down. Come on, take 4 or 5 inches off.
You've got a body double. Either of your inches, evidently by the size of your mouth.
Yeah, this is very true. But I just think it's very interesting with the media. You know, I constantly see third party through Chloe. I don't have to put up with it because men are. You know, it's a bit of a real sexist thing with this women where it's dumbed down, where women are terrified of going to gym, where, you know, women, it's got to be accessible. And I think people like Women's Health and the general media and the Daily Mail, they've got a responsibility to educate and stop pushing this bullshit, stop pushing these ridiculous narratives. No, but I mean, that's what they've got to do. And I think it's really important with what she's doing is doing it in a right way and teaching people the right way. And when I was in the jungle, one of my people in there was under eating because they'd come in there and they thought, oh, I'm gonna lose a load of weight. I'm gonna use this as a tool to lose loads of weight. And I was like, you're already in a massive calorie deficit. Yeah. Why the fuck are you under eating? And they also things like rehydration. People go around going, oh, I have 1 canteen of water. That's 500 ml. I was drinking 15 of them. Some people were living off 1 of them a day. And I'm like, but that's nobody knows understand.
Do you know what scares me? Water intake, just quickly to intercept. Every time I get on a flight, short haul or long haul, I am literally the only person that gets up to pee at any stage until the very end of the flight when people go in there to like brush their teeth or do whatever. And I'm like, how are these people not getting up to wee? We've been on the flight for 11 hours. And I'm like, what's happening here? People aren't drinking enough water.
You know what bothers me more? People that have to go for a poo on planes.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a small plane, like,
poo admin,
done it within the first 10 minutes to get on board. And you think, have you not done that in the airport?
There's
and I'm always near the front
of
the plane, so I'm always like 3 feet away.
I went in there the other day, and someone before me, it looked like a modern art masterpiece. They detonated an absolute grenade in there. Nice. And I was honestly, because they came out and I made eye contact with them. It was actually a woman. I looked at and I thought she was small. I thought there's no way, you know, like we're just gonna go for a lady wee. I come in and I caught sight of myself and I honestly just went like,
she's the exception, not the rule.
Fucking hell. Like, what has happened here? And when I went back, I walked past her. She was reading a book, and she nervously looked at me, and I looked at her. And for that split second, the eye contact went. I know what you did. It was horrific. You didn't manage the situation either. You're going to hell. And I did that all in a 30-second space. And then I went back to and honestly, I was fuming. Chloe tried to talk to me, and all I did when I was reading was like, I fucking can't believe she's done that. Just no respect. Like Chloe went into the toilet, and some bloke had weed all over the floor.
All over the floor.
I mean, how can you not get it right? Like, how can you not get it right? She was like that.
I went in there,
she walked around barefoot. She had to clear it up.
Not barefoot. I went back and got my shoes, then went back.
But I was looking at him. I was giving evils because he was checking Chloe out every time Chloe turned over to talk to me.
I think he'd taken some stuff to sleep on the plane, but wasn't asleep yet because he didn't look compass man. Had like one eye pointing that way and one eye pointing that way, and he was like swaying.
Is that Chloe? Every time Chloe turned to talk to me, he was doing something. He'd just stare at a bum. So he's staring at a bum while I was looking over, and I was looking at him, looking at a bum, and I was like, eyes aren't painted on, are they? Yeah. It's not made of wood. And I was looking at him, and he catch sight of me with his eyes round the wrong way, and he'd just go off talking to himself. And honestly,
he might not have been looking at her. They could be looking at anything.
Yeah, he could be. No, but his eyes were normally straight. But after he took this, whatever it was he'd taken, he was singing. Do you remember he was singing to himself?
I don't think he was that with it.
I think we've made an entire podcast out of this.
Anyway, should we talk about health and fitness?
I've got a guilty. I've never admitted this. I've got a guilt. I was on a plane once, and we had a new product I'd been trying, which for some reason at altitude did give me tremendous trumpets.
Oh,
I was letting them go. I was letting them go. It was one of our original oat bars.
That fibre will get you.
About 7 years ago this was, and which seemed to kick in at like 40,000.
Had you branded the company Grenade yet, or was that where you got the thought from?
Yeah, so people were starting to zone in on the fact it might be me because I'm letting them go every minute, and people are like, and they're pretty bad. And then what happened was this really old guy got up to go to the toilet, and he sort of shuffled down the toilet, and I thought, if I can hold it in while he's in there, everyone's going to think it's him. So that's exactly, and he was in there ages, and like I was turning blue, and he eventually came out, and of course then the smell vanished when he went in there, and of course he came out, and I just did it for the rest of the flight, and everyone thought it was him.
That's very strategic.
It was very strategic, wasn't it?
Strategic trumping. That's something a girl would do. Well done.
It's not my proudest moment.
There's something, by the way, about carbohydrates. I don't know if it like fibre. Well, I guess they're all fibrous. There's something about carbohydrates and planes. I've heard this before. People are like, I get a funny tummy. No, I would say if you're going to fly, it's let's just do a little bit of serious health and fitness advice. It's preferable to fast, but if you can't fast, try and just do like proteins and fats, because I think in terms of your digestive system, it's preferable.
I think half it's psychological, because you know you're not supposed to. It's taboo.
No,
so
I
because it's taboo.
I would be trying not to fall right now.
Getting your knob out and showing it to the stewardess is taboo. You know, releasing a bit of gas from the plane.
I've been farting all morning. You haven't even noticed yet.
I really haven't.
But you know, when we get to the airport, because you guys have got those bars in WH Smith's, or just launched. Every time we come back, we always buys me grenade bars, going to a petrol station. I'm like, Chloe, we're supposed to be sponsored by them. Stop giving Alan more money. Like we're supposed to, like, you know, stop doing it, because we always eat them on the planes, don't we?
Yeah, we always buy them.
It's probably only a fraction of a penny per bar, but I do like
it's too much for me. It's too much
but the more their sales go up, the more we're on board, then the longer we can stay getting in free grenade products.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Business.
Yeah, business.
No, that is true.
I always buy my own books in shops as well. I'm like,
I sold 30,000.
That's his buying them.
I sold something like 40,000 of my own book, and I think that I bought about 39,000 of them.
Everyone does. But
pulped of Alan Partridge.
40,000 is a really good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
That is a big number. He's made that up. It's not true.
I'm a bestseller. What can I say?
Yeah, we actually, when we first launched the brand, we'd go out and buy products as well, just to sort of get rate of sale and whatever. Obviously, it's not sustainable. I'm not suggesting anyone does it as a business strategy.
There's something nostalgic about it. Not nostalgic. That's the wrong word. There's something, I don't know what you're excited, I think, at first.
Well, you just kind of want to see it go through the till, and I guess it's probably all part of that transition of sort of starting with something.
What is the word I'm trying to think of?
No idea. We'll come to it.
Fine.
If anyone knows, please tell us. But no, James, going back to your jungle stuff as well. I mean, super proud of you just doing it anyway. And watching you sort of starving, I thought you handled it phenomenally well. How you didn't kind of kill anyone.
Well, I nearly did. I did it. Well, I did. Do you know what the weirdest thing was? Is first of all, I'm not a celebrity in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, you are.
I'm not. In comparison to some of the people I was in there with, I enjoyed the experience. It was very, very tough. Actually, halfway through, I realised it was like a pre-season camp where, the challenges were kind of like the fitness. You were sitting around with a whole load of people you'd never met before. You were preparing to do stuff. There was time to kill. You were almost staying in a dodgy hotel, like I've been in something. You go to Poland in the middle of the forest.
That Versace hotel does look like an.
Unfortunately, that was a nice part. I mean, they put me in.
It needs a refurb. It's nice, but it needs a refurb.
Oh, really? What's in you stayed?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's all it's been destroyed.
Yeah. And actually, in the jungle, because the rice and beans, that was never an issue.
Okay.
They reckon, Kate Garrow reckons she went 10 days without going to the bathroom. 10 days. I don't believe it. I said, I don't believe it. Yeah, no, but it blocks you up.
Oh, wow.
So she said 10 days. No way.
Probably not uncommon with
I went like 2 minutes within camp. Like I didn't have any problems, but everyone was like, because it was weird.
That's why she didn't go for 10 days.
Yeah, probably. But everyone was sitting around like five of us, and everyone gone to the loo, and I'm like, I'm not going to volunteer that I've gone straight in there and dropped a bomb. I was like, no. So anyway, we're going on. It was only about 4 days in that Jacqueline took me to one side. I went, I know you went to the loo, and I went, what do you mean? Like, obviously weird, because you don't talk to toilet habits, but she went, I know you did. And I went, okay, I did. And I went, how do you know? She went, wow, you just went slightly longer. It was fast, but slightly longer than needed. I clocked it, but I can understand why you're not saying anything about it. So it was just weird, like, conversation.
I love that girl.
It was quite funny. She's brilliant, Jack.
Except I wanted her to win. Like, I was like, if James doesn't win, it can't be anyone but her.
But I found the thing enjoyable, but actually I didn't learn a lot about myself. I knew that I could be resilient. What I really enjoyed was I went in there, and to be honest with you, all the other celebrities had no idea who I was, had no idea about rugby. So for once in my life...
That's not changed.
This is very true. For once in my life, I just spent all my time talking to them about their stuff and doing what Chloe does, which is ask lots of questions.
Yeah.
And so I just asked lots of questions, and because I didn't have to be the perception of myself, which is like loud, jokey, taking the piss, because you can't take the piss out of people on TV because it doesn't really go down that well, and people have different levels of acceptance.
It's not a rugby changing room.
It's not a rugby changing room,
Yeah.
exactly. I was just very nice to put my arm around people and help them, and that was my role, and that's what gave me validation and what really helped me, and I actually really enjoyed it. And subsequently, since I've come out, I was with my friends, and they're normally like, one of them said to me the other day, it's been an hour and you haven't taken the piss once.
Who
And I was
said
like, Big H.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, well, why can't we just have a normal conversation? Because Chloe always says that every conversation I have with a lot of friends is quite surface. It's like a lot of shouting, basically, Alan, like you and
basically
I talk.
like you two.
Yeah, basically you two. You're
together.
shouting abuse, laughing, bit of serious stuff, back to shouting abuse at each other, shit jokes, and go round. But actually, with that, I found something different. So that's what I learned. But in terms of everything else, I thought I was terrified of bugs. I hate things. I lied about what I was scared of.
I guess you'd lied about that. I thought, I guess why you'd done
But
that.
then, do you know what? As soon as you had
You
a
were
challenge
so
to do,
hungry.
you just got on with it. As soon as
gotta
your
do it.
mind has something to focus. And also the word, because of animal rights activists, the best thing that they've ever done is you can't eat live stuff anymore, because apparently spiders got feelings, so I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have done that. But actually, you had to caress. They were like, please, if the animals are in the way, please move them out the way.
Gently.
That first gently move out the way. That first thing, I was in there just mashing everything up.
That was because of the sausage fingers, though.
That
wasn't
was,
it?
yeah. I mean, look at them. And then they one challenge, we were doing this thing, twisting things, and they put a snake over me. They're like, oh, be careful of the snake. I hadn't even noticed they put a python on me. I was like, fuck the snake. I'm trying, this crab. I thought as well, when I did the thing with the crab, I was twisting this thing, and basically the crab would not move. And it was nipping at me. And I tried to pick it up, move it. And basically I spun this star so hard that it made a big, and I thought, oh crap. I've snapped one of the crab's arms off live on TV.
Do they have arms?
Pincers.
Claws.
Claws.
That's the word.
Claws. Pincers. I snapped a claw off, but I hadn't. It literally, the star had just flicked its shell, because everyone didn't take a breath, because there's no way you can. It was like a live challenge.
Imagine that, James Haskell.
Yeah. I did when I-
decapitates
when I-
crab.
Your
Can you
bloody
decapitate
fault,
crab?
is it? It's ITV's.
I mean, I wouldn't.
fault.
Honestly, I wouldn't have lost
WITV.
sleep about it.
No, but I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like the only person, actually, if I'm going to be totally honest, because I genuinely think I would smash all the challenges.
I think you would as well.
The only person I think had a really... Are we allowed to swear?
You swear as much
I've
as you
done
like.
it about
It's
10
a bit
times.
late now.
A really fucking awful one was Jacqueline's last one, where they put that spider in her mouth, that huntsman.
Yeah, but you know they did
And
that
she
to-
was tied down and she couldn't move. And I was like, there's so many things about this that make it so uncomfortable to watch that I can't even imagine what... Her lips went blue with panic, like blue. And I was like, holy crap. Everybody else got such a bloody easy ride. Roman's one, they just literally like put him in a bed and put some cute snakes on him. And they were like, now you have to
Were they-
sit
were
in
they
there for
cute?
10 minutes.
No one's-
Snakes are cute.
Things no one's ever said. Cute snakes.
I love snakes.
I
You know
can't
what they
stand
are? I mean, I had the
Oh,
rats.
really? I really like them.
Yeah, mate, they're fine. Honestly, snakes are a piece
The
of
rats
piss.
were really cute.
Rats are
when
really
you were,
cute.
when you were
One of the
trying
rats
to
put
do
up my
it.
head, and it just went down, dick first, into my face, and sat there.
But you'd be used to that.
snuffling. And I was like this. And the problem is their whiskers, because I have my mouth closed. They would snuffle up, and the whiskers would go in my mouth. I didn't want to open my mouth in case I pulled them, because you don't want to fix a rat like next to your face.
I thought the rats were cute.
Yeah, the cockroaches were by far and away, because everything stinks.
Stink, yeah.
Stinks.
Why?
I don't. Apparently, I said to the lady, I said, why are you making them? And they said, no, that's just their general smell and what they eat. It makes them stink like shit.
What do they eat?
I don't know.
Leaves.
Rats.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know what they eat, but I mean, Ian Wright had to put that huntsman in his mouth, and it was
Vile.
just sitting there like this. And you're like, I think if I'd had to do more with spiders,
Yeah.
I may have cried. But then,
Did you get the care package we sent you where we actually put a spider in it?
no, sadly,
Yes,
no.
you did.
I got a care package, but not the
The
spiders.
spider, remember you put it on the table when you got
Oh,
home?
that one.
It wasn't a real
shit.
one.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
that-
Yeah,
that
That's-
giant spider.
But how rank is that spider?
Yeah.
So I'll give for the story
was
for those who
Jenny's
don't
idea.
know. So Grenade basically sent like a
Jenny.
welcome home pack with the my favourite bars, spreads, the energy drink, and everything else. And then in it was a black widow spider, but it's so realistic that I opened it. I didn't jump, but I put it on the thing, and the way it moves, it is rank. And people
is
keep
rank.
coming to the house, and it sits on the table, and are freaking out about it. It's hot. It's the most realistic,
Your
horrible
friend's
fake spider.
obviously stupid, because real spiders don't look like that.
Babe, when it moves,
Who's
honestly.
coming into the house like, oh my god, oh sorry, I thought it was
Yeah, because
the
you,
giant black and red face.
yeah, but it looks like a giant black widow. I mean, it could happen.
Your friends are stupid.
It's like
They're not allowed in the house
right.
anymore.
It's a genetically modified one. But again,
They eat reload bars.
We'll come to you in a sec as well, Chloe. But I think, to be honest, James, that whole thing probably did you the world of good as well with just coming to the end of that rugby career and whatever. Because when we were first chatting, I think it was March last year, and I do remember. But the first thing you said to me was, "I'm retiring from rugby." I think you just broke your toe. You were kind of hobbling, and you could tell it was really playing on your mind. And I know that's incredibly difficult thing to do for any elite athlete or anyone that's been at the top of the game. And it's so nice now for you just to hear you say that it's actually now you're on to the next chapter of your life. Because remember, we said to you, actually, I'm not really interested in rugby. We've kind of almost waited till now to try and work with you as well, because both of you got so much to offer than just the original two-dimensional thing. And in your case, rugby, you've got a personality which is distinctly lacking in the world, I think, personalities. So the fact having one of those is brilliant. This is kind of now like day one, I think. And I think probably having that jungle experience just kind of gave you that bit of a reset button.
Yeah, I think so.
So to speak.
And it was actually it was fun. And I'll never be as involved in as big a TV show as that ever again. I'll never have that opportunity. And 14 million people tune into that, and absolutely live and breathe it. It is like entertainment at its maximum.
Such an insane number.
And it's like that amount of people, and also people get so caught up in it. I mean, I haven't watched a minute of it. I'll never watch a minute of it because I want to remember how it was, not the edited version, because you're condensing 24 hours down into an edit. But Chloe, the stuff that she had to go through on the outside, the intensity she had to deal with, and I don't think if I had a less brave, more forthright, talented, intelligent wife, I think it would have broken her. Just the fact that she...
Well, other than Chloe.
Sorry,
Chloe.
Yeah.
Right. I see what you did then. Yeah, we'll edit that, but don't worry.
She has to...
I like that.
I met your wife.
That she had to put up with... the people get so excited about it. Like, honestly, the headlines I came out to were Haskell involved in boat party with sex and feces. What a headline. Rich and Judy flee Australia.
Did happen.
I saw the Rich and Judy flee Australia one. I did see that.
I mean, there was... What else was there? I'd ruined Christmas. I'd upset some people with special needs. I had bullied people.
How did you ruin Christmas?
I ruined Christmas by talking about
when they found out Santa wasn't real, and everyone. No, actually, you know what? Not everyone. It was like two annoying parents.
No, okay.
Sorry, Grenade listeners. Santa. Well, I didn't.
You only visited good people, Alan. So you're stuffed, mate.
No, but it was because. I think it was like two parents on Twitter, and the press. It takes like two people on Twitter to say something, and they're like, "There's a Twitter storm," and it's like nobody gave a crap. People were the only time you genuinely offended people was when you said that, and this is only because they're huge fans of the show. You said you were too intelligent to be there, and that's the only time when people were genuinely like angry. But it's only because they're fans, so to them it's like the best show in the world, and how dare you think it's stupid.
I know. I never watched 1 minute of that show, and I thought what my revelation was, I realised how brilliant Ant and Dec are at presenting and how they nailed it.
Yeah, they're great.
I thought that the spectacle of the show is great. I wouldn't watch it again. I'm not a fan of the show. I loved it, and it was very hard, and what a privilege to be involved in it. But I wouldn't, I wouldn't ever sit by and watch it. But
you watch next year.
Hey, I've never watched any TV.
Yeah, I can understand why you wouldn't want it. I
didn't watch it to start with, but like someone like Andy Wyman went in there, and everything to him was the greatest thing in the history of the world, because he absolutely loved the show. He's like, mate, oh my God, I love this, I can't wait to get the cyclone. Oh, I love, it's my favourite thing. And I was like,
India.
Pardon?
Is he from India?
yeah. Doncaster Bar, India, or Lancashire Bar. But he, but the other sort of things were interesting that I kind of ruined all these things. But actually, I got Ofcom complaints, right? I got something like 100 Ofcom complaints.
We've all got Ofcom.
And I was like, fucking good, right? How dull do you have to be not to get Ofcom? Yeah. Bear in mind some of the people who watch that show. Bear in mind like how irate people get. If you put, I put something on. You put something on Instagram. There's always one tit who's got just a vice versa opinion, but you don't. What you should always do in business and in life and everything else like that is go for the common sense and the generalization. Where a lot of big companies now do a campaign, for example, and 3 people reply. So we do a thing in that tank stuff, right? Everything was unbelievably positive, funny. You get 7 dickheads who go, "You're destroying the environment with a tank." It's like, okay, right, just relax. So you don't.
There was a cloud of black smoke outside.
We're running on vegetable oil. That threw them off.
Yeah, that threw them off.
Really threw them runs on vegetable oil.
But the thing is that big
companies.
Basically
vegan.
It was a vegan tank. Yeah.
Good.
So basically, they essentially so Grenade, you could have rightly gone, "Oh God, guys, you need to take this down because you're worried about that." But you should never ever worry about the small voice. because common sense dictates, that's fine. So with that show, people get so irate, but actually, out of all the things I've ever done, I've never had such positive feedback. In rugby, sports fan come up and go, "Oh mate, I've seen you play better," or "I thought you were good a couple of times." Like rude. People have come out their way to go, "I think you were brilliant. I loved it. I loved how honest you were. I loved how funny you were. I loved how you did this," and I'm blown away by it. So for that value, that's fine. But I did ruin Christmas for kids.
You ruined it for me.
And me every year.
Yeah. And was this hard for you to deal with, Chloe, as well? Because I know it was tricky. There was that kind of. It was probably that phony period before James went in, when there was that radio silence when he was kind of there but not in yet, and you got no communication.
I think so. The first,
for some reason, you were missing him. No idea why.
God knows why.
She was around here most nights.
With the
we're glad to see her go
on the Wi-Fi, surfing the World Wide Web. The first thing that was hard was that James is very much like. Crack on, like that's his mentality. Crack on, crack on, crack on. So every time I tried to talk to him about the fact that he was about to be gone for a fucking month, he was like, "Don't want to talk about it, just crack on," which was all well and good when we were together, but the second that he got on the plane, and then as soon as they land, they're on lockdown in the hotel for a week before they even go into the show. The second they land, the phone gets taken away. So all of a sudden it was just like, boom, radio silence. Yeah. And I was like, fuck. And then I was like, how is he? Oh my God, what's he thinking? How's he feeling? And like every like thought that you can have, it was just very weird. But like I kept my shit together to a degree. I only had like 2 meltdowns now. I kept my shit together. And then when the show started, it was a relief because I could see him and he was fine. He was happy. He was enjoying it. Everything was fine. And then it was like week 2 where I could see that, and James is really like active and like moves around a lot. Obviously, like that's why his physique is always kind of looks the way it does. And I just noticed that his face started to get really drawn, and I could see him sleeping in the background of like every shot, and I was like, fuck, he's starving. And when he held up the rice and beans, he held up the rice and beans, and I was like, that's 300 calories max. And then when they win the stars, I was like, that's about 500 calories max. You get a tiny portion of protein and a tiny portion of veg. I was like, okay. And I was like, holy shit, his whole face changed. His mouth, his like eyes, his cheekbones, his chin, everything changed. And then it's really weird, like your maternal instinct just kind of kicks in and you're like, that's someone I love and they don't look right. They look wrong. And so I started freaking out a little bit when that happened. And then obviously he, had his meltdown, which was hilarious. But yeah, there's stuff that happens behind the scenes too, like with the press, production, like people and so yeah, it is a challenge, but at the same time, like you've also got to check yourself and be like, it's a TV show, get a grip. Like worse things are happening in the world, and when you put that into perspective, then you just call out.
I mean, and you're really successful in your own right. So does it bother you if people sort of refer to you as Rich and Judy's daughter or as James Haskell's wife, or is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Well, okay, so before I had the career that I have now and the success...
You haven't got to answer these, by the way.
No.
We'll make something up.
No, they're great questions. No, they're great.
Of course I wrote them. I didn't actually. That one wasn't mine. That was Ruby's.
Oh, well done.
You'll know when mine come up.
I'm sure, yeah. How many times did you fall on the way here?
Swim faster than a shark.
Obviously, yeah. Have you seen these?
Yeah.
So initially, before I found the career that I and my passion and my success with what I do now, and I genuinely love my job, and I was known as Richard and Judy's daughter, it was like soul destroying because it was accurate, like in terms of perception of me, like nobody, like it was all I had, and it was really awful and really hard. Now that I have the success I have, I feel nothing but pride to be known as Rich and Judy's daughter, because it's another area of my life that I'm really proud of. It's just at the time I didn't have anything to call my own. I have yet to be called James Haskell's wife, but it wouldn't bother me because I think I would find it quite.
I've been Chloe Madeley's husband.
I think I would find. Oh yeah, Andy said that, right?
Yeah.
I think I would find it quite sweet in a way. I'd be like, oh, that's my husband. It'd be quite nice.
And is it true you quit your job as a TV presenter to go and do your PT?
Yeah, so I was working as a runner on the Alan Titchmarsh. No, hang on. I was a runner on Loose Women. I was working as a senior researcher for a production company called Spun Gold, who did the Alan Titchmarsh show. And I was also doing bits in front of the camera for the novelty factor of being my parents' daughter. And then I started training. I started weightlifting, and yeah, pretty much immediately I just quit all my jobs, moved home, and started getting all my qualifications together so I could then basically flyer the whole of London. And at one point I had like 29 clients and it was fucking killer, but I'm so glad I did it because I learned everything I know now. And then my blog went really well, then my apps all went to #1, and then I got my book deal, and now I have my podcast. And yeah, it's just been like a really slow but very palpable snowball effect. And yeah, it sounds like such a wanky thing to say, but I really love my life now, and I look back on how unhappy I was in my 20s, and I'm so happy that I'm where I am.
But you have to go through that as well, because you don't know what happiness looks like unless you probably had that element of sadness and whatever. You've got that. You've got that comparison.
Very true.
So we've got some questions for you. So because I know we're really pushed for time. So
we're not. No. James can be late.
I'll be fine.
So right, let's.
I will, Alan, just say interesting before you go into questions. It's interesting about the thing with Chloe because.
You're always like, I have an opinion on this.
No, I do. I have an opinion. That's what I do. If you take away my opinion, I'm just a big meathead.
I wish you would.
Yeah, I wish you would.
No, very bruised nose.
I know. Yeah, thank you. It's. I think it's interesting with I think we talk about sexism and everything else. I think in some respects that it's for me it's alive and well in certain areas because it's amazing when I meet I introduce people to Chloe and we have a conversation and often they won't. Sports fans or people won't even acknowledge Chloe. They'll talk to me. They won't and say hello to her. So I'll always go, this is my wife, Chloe. We'll talk. And Chloe will sometimes say something to people and they won't acknowledge it. And then someone will say, and I'm like, so what normally a lot of people do is you just gloss over it. But I'll go, no, Chloe just asked you a question.
Yeah, that would annoy me. I think that's really rude.
Because I think, because she is, more successful than I am, more intelligent than I am, and better at her any single job than I am. No. And I find it I'm funny, but, that's, you've got to have something.
That's subjective.
Wow.
It's the word you are looking for.
People's favourite. I mean, laughter follows me everywhere. Some at me, some with me. But the thing with it is that I just find it very interesting that, again, that she's so successful that actually, in terms of who her parents are, but they're active in certain areas, but she is doing something so different. And I find it annoying I personally find it annoying when they reference as rich. No, she's fucking Chloe Madeley. I mean, I wanted to be Chloe Haskell, but obviously for the business.
I know, it's tricky. We kind of internally refer to her sometimes as both.
No. We told her to keep it for business.
Socially. And like normal, like Haskell, in real life, Haskell. Yeah. His friends call me Haskell, which I fucking love because I feel like I've hijacked your life.
You have.
But then it's just business wise, I'm Madeley because all my books and everything that everyone just.
Yeah, that's what we said. That was the best thing to do. But I just do think it's very interesting that I want an equal as a partner and a wife or someone better. I don't want to. I never want her to be James Haskell's wife, or I don't want her to be Rich and Judy's daughter. Even though it's nice, but she's transcended that.
Yeah, but sometimes that's just perception. So I could be, I don't know, the best florist in the world, and nobody would necessarily know that, but my clientele. But you would know, and you would know that. But it's just perception. I think that where people go wrong when they're in the public eye, or they're near somebody in the public eye, is they see it as their reality. It's not reality. It's perception. It's the other side of the wall. And I think as long as you can distinguish between the two, you're not going to go fucking insane.
I agree with you. I just think sometimes when you meet people, you should give them an equal measure.
Look, all old male rugby fans, you need to check yourself because I'm not the only girl that you do this to. And
it's like the only reason they look at them is to check out whether they're fit or not.
Yeah, is she fit? And then they ignore you again. And it's like, fuck you. Yeah. And we all struggle with it.
We've been asked loads and loads of rugby questions to ask you, which I'm not even going to ask you, to be honest.
I think you should.
I'll give you one if you want to give me one.
I love the rugby questions.
Any rugby?
Well, so there's one here. So someone's asked, what was it like living with Ollie Phillips? I've no idea who that is.
So Ollie Phillips.
And who is the biggest tart/diva out of both of you?
Me and Ollie?
Yeah.
So I lived with Ollie Phillips in my time at Stade Francais. Ollie Phillips was a winger, a lovely guy. More people in the world know Ollie Phillips than anyone I've ever met.
Yeah.
He literally knows
everybody. I knew him before I knew James.
Everybody, it's bizarre. I'm bizarre you haven't met him. I promise you at some point you will do. And he was nicknamed the accountant because he looks about 60, but he's only about 35. Honestly, he looked 60 when he was like 20. He looked like
He just had his second baby, by the way.
He did,
yesterday or something.
Yeah, he did. Well, congratulations, Ollie. And he looks like a bit of a chewed tennis ball. His lid went. He was grey. He was grey.
So he's massively old before his time. Looks like a chewed tennis ball.
He's got a lovely face.
I'm going to Google it later.
Almost like a little Irish face. Does he have any Irish blood in him?
I don't know.
He's got a lovely face. You're being mean.
So I lived in France, so he was absolutely brilliant to live with, and we laughed. And some of the best memories. And he was a top try scorer in the French league, and he got signed on a deal from Newcastle. People weren't sure where he was. He became top try scorer, but our coach at the time called him the accountant because he looked like an accountant running around on the field instead of a rugby player. Who's bigger diva? I think Ollie was probably bigger diva.
In what context?
Yeah, in what context? I'm going to just say Ollie because I don't want to admit to bigger
tart
diva. A tart.
Oh my God, you should hear some of the stories about them living in Paris. Like, it makes my skin crawl. I'm like, I hate you both. Don't tell me anymore. We're going to have to get it.
My ears.
I hate it. They're awful. You were awful. Well, I suppose you have to sow your oats while you can. Both married now.
I was like, call me Quaker, weren't they?
Oh God, I'm moving on. I'm moving on.
Right,
so that's the rugby question. I've just got to quickly talk MMA as well, because obviously that's the thing at the moment is MMA, James. And when will the first fight be? Any idea?
So
and how do you feel as well about this, Chloe?
You can answer it
first.
Okay,
I can tell you're over the moon. Right?
I mean, after 4 years of paying £500 to sleep in cots next to his hospital bed, and then have to deal with a child at home that was really angry that he couldn't move, I'm thrilled that he's gone back into another contact sport when he's already broken. Yeah. But you know what? I won't.
She basically cried. She basically, the first time I told her, she cried. I was like, I don't want you to do it. You're basically a dickhead. And
she's got a point, to be fair.
She's got a point.
Yeah.
So
but now I think the benefit of it is that you've gone back into the training, which is a really good outlet for somebody like you. And that you've gone back into being surrounded by like big kind of like dominating.
You
men.
like coming down to because all the men, because in a weird thing in rugby, part of the reason I did it as well was that I've always been a big guy. People always assume you're tough because you're big. That doesn't mean anything. If you know anything about fighting, it's normally the small wiry people who are the most lethal. I've done a professional sport for years. Yes, I was very physical in that game, but to fight someone and to stand toe to toe with someone is very, very different. MMA is such a multitude of different skills together that I really enjoy the learning part of it. Sparring is bizarre. I've started having full fights in training now. The first night before my first spar, I didn't sleep very well. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not. Yes, I get angry and have a temper, and I don't shy away. But I'm not naturally a fighter. I don't want to. So all these kind of things were part of the test for it. And it is very hard, but I am enjoying it. I love upskilling myself. I love the challenge of it. I love the fear of scaring myself. It's horrific on the body. I've already had a career of 18 and a half years being a professional rugby player. And then to go and do this again is really testing.
That's the only thing about it that I don't like. I'm in your corner, no pun intended, for everything. But I'd hate the fact that you're going to be in more pain. I
know, but I was in pain, to be honest, since I finished playing. So it's just now moderately more pain than it was before. But the interesting thing with Chloe is that normally in a rugby environment, if you fall out with someone, unless there's that odd couple of players that I come across in my career who are badass boxers, you pretty much not fear of someone filling you in. Whereas I go to London Shoot Fighters and everybody, including the 70-year-old cleaner, could kill me. But Chloe's got a real thing about, she gets all funny and a bit weak-kneed around men that she could kill her. Like absolute she gets a bit,
Is that why you like me? You know me?
Yeah.
But I mean, that explains it.
That's why I'm around here on the World Wide Web.
We meet these people, and she gets a bit giddy. Because there's a very
also because they're legends that you're introducing me to people that I know nothing about fighting, but I know the people you're introducing
like
me to.
Roger Gracie. Roger Gracie's like my height. He's a black belt 10 times over. He's a fighter, and he's obviously a good-looking guy. And also he could kill me. He could kill me within seconds. And that's what the weird thing about this training thing is that like I've got a problem at the moment with my throat. I got choked out 4 times yesterday, and it feels like I've got something sticking in my throat because my windpipes.
Who were you fighting?
We just do sparring stuff, and it was like we're doing technique. So we did technique yesterday and the day before. No, it was another guy. So we're doing sparring, and I basically got my head down, get caught in a guillotine, and I was driving home. I thought I'm getting a sore throat. Every time I swallow, it feels like something sticking in my throat.
It's really swollen.
Yeah, but it's because someone's just been doing guillotine, and it's
an M&M. That's what it is.
Yeah, so that it is what I'm enjoying it. I mean, we're hopefully going to make an announcement in February as to whether the first fight's going to be. It'll be within 5 or 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
And then we'll see where we go from there. My priority is just get there. Obviously, one of the reason was going from a team sport to an individual sportsman. Obviously, financially, to fight makes sense. You know, the fact that you get sponsors. I mean, you guys at the moment are my only kind of sponsor. So trying to work with some different people for that build up to that fight while still trying to live my life. The only problem is the commuting and the recovery and the impact it's having on me. I've gone back to being a full professional. So whereas I thought I could do it every day and live a normal life, it's not proving to be that way. I'm managing stuff, but I'm having to be very ruthless with time management. And before, Chloe's biggest criticism, I'd say yes to too much stuff. I would drive round willy-nilly. My dad, a lot of time I worked with my sports psychologist and therapist I spent a large part of my rugby career tired, doing too much off the field. Now I'm ruthless. Now, and we live in a world now where everybody wants a meeting, right? Whereas a fucking email will do. And it's like, do an email, let's do it. And if we've got something to say, let's have a meet up. So I now have to be so ruthless. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that dinner for that. No, I'm not going here. Everything has to be centered around that, because you can't have any late nights, because these guys are unforgiving.
It's just because of recovery.
Yeah, I walk in and say to them, I got like my shoulder sore today. And they're like that. They're just dead behind the eyes. They do not give a shit.
That whole fight community is still so old school with that recovery.
I mean, I told them about my throat, and he went, yeah, no, that's normal, mate. We'll get that. I was like, I feel like I was 6 years. Yeah, no, that's fine. And also, you need to fight harder because I said you need to be a bit more tough. And I went, you basically saying I need to stop being a fanny? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay, thanks, coach. Yeah, and that was it. And basically, I've got to survive longer while I'm getting choked out and getting my throat bruised is normal. And basically, could I shut the fuck up and get on with it?
This is probably harder than what you've done before as well. Because you get that familiarity with rugby, because all this is new as well for both of you.
Yeah. It is the weirdest and hardest thing I've ever done. And the weird thing is with the live sparring, not only are you fighting, but it's not like boxing. So the fight doesn't finish when someone goes down. When someone goes down, the fight just begins. And the fact is that you're doing it, say, the rounds are 3 5-minute rounds. We're doing 4 2-minute rounds. And in that 2 minutes, I am so out on my feet, and so is the other guy, that it's like you get taken to the floor, you land a few shots, and you are desperate for breath that you don't mind getting hit just to try to catch your breath for a second. Obviously, you can't have that.
Yeah.
And because you've got smaller gloves, that's a knockout right there. And it is that the biggest thing about going to training is a little bit of fear about the fighting, but it's the fact that I know the default position is drowning.
Yeah.
The default position to anything you do is drowning, and there is no let up. Even when you do a technical session, after an hour of doing wrestling, I'm losing 2 litres of water. I am out on my feet, so I'm having and the calories. Chloe's read on my calories. I'm every morning. I'm eating 1,300 calories at breakfast. I'm drinking taking grenade stuff. I'm finishing sessions. I'm smashing the got bars in between things. I mean, at the moment, I just can't keep the weight on. I lost 12 kgs.
You've never looked so lean as well. You're like shredded.
I know. I lost 12 kgs. I went from 122 to 110 in the jungle. I'm back up to 117.7. The maximum weight I got to fight is at 120. So I've got to be around that to fight, because I'll be fighting some bloke who's going to weigh in 119 and then come, 24 hours, 40 hours later, it's going to be up to 123, 124 because of dehydration. I need to be sitting around there. So I just can't get enough of it in me, really. Like
that brings you my next question, actually. And someone's asked, is it true you're always getting injured because Chloe destroys you in the bedroom?
Oh, well, do you do? Well, I mean,
you must do play fighting, because that leads to sex. So you've got to be doing that all the time.
Yeah, we wrestle, but it doesn't always lead to sex. Normally it leads to a fight.
Normally leads to a round.
No, it's a real fight.
He's like, get off my toe, I'm injured.
I love your
don't pull my hair.
No,
I love your fights.
When the worst headline. So in the world of media, because everyone believes what they read. So if I told you Kim Kardashian's given birth to a chihuahua, the part of you would.
Who says chihuahua?
What is it then?
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
I'd get Chihuahua. I'd go Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Does anyone know? Does anyone care?
We'll comment underneath. But essentially with that is that you think a second, you go and check, because you part of me were like, fuck, maybe she has. Right. But when you read stuff about yourself, like I came out of the jungle and they just went, the Daily Star just made up that Chloe and I have been engaged in a sex marathon, right? Just went locked in a hotel room for sex marathon,
you
right?
were like so uninterested. I was like, mother, I have been out here for a month.
I've got to hold that thought, because I've got a solution for that shortly.
So they basically, they ran with that
it's
story.
Called a dildo.
And then the sun, and then what? And then the sun, I'm joking.
Maybe.
Modern-ish. No, was it called prophylactic? No, that's the condom, isn't it? Was it? Marital aid.
So hold it, because this is the perfect time. Because we got a little gift for you, actually. This is the perfect time to do it. So, this is actually edible. So we got you this. So it's actually, it is a carb killer. I wouldn't suggest you eat it, because it has been manhandled by
How did you get an exact replica of my penis?
Yeah, well, we've had to make it twice the size, but I thought either you or Chloe could use it. Now, you mustn't eat this.
What flavour is it?
I don't know actually without having a nibble. I don't have a nibble. I've had to Loctite a bollock on because one of the bollocks came off.
How did you get it on?
We're calling it
you should drop a bollock, Alan.
Yeah, we're calling it cocklet. So it lost a testicle in transit.
Dude, you would sell a lot of those in Ann Summers.
Yeah, it's been Loctited back on.
Oh my God, that's an amazing business idea.
Protein flavoured sex chocolate.
All your prayers are answered.
Protein chocolate sex chocolate.
It's been manhandled.
You don't have to eat it. Just use your imagination. Right, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, so they ran with the thing in the Daily Mail. So every title of every article went James and Chloe after their sex marathon. But what's interesting is that it was just utter bullshit. There wasn't a sex marathon. There wasn't even a fucking sex sprint. I came out fucked. I had a bath. The water was so dirty that I had a shower. I ate, and all I wanted to do was sleep. I did not have one sexual thought. So when I
tell you, we actually had an argument that night because
what's a surprise?
Yeah, I know it doesn't sound like us.
Hadn't seen each other in a month. Hadn't spoken in a month, and James decided. So we get into bed, and I'm like, we get into bed, and he puts like a granny food tray that you put on grannies when they're eating.
Meals on Wheels tray.
It was like big. It was like as big as this table. He like puts it in between us and starts reading his book. And I'm like trying to go over the tray, which is filled with food, and weird food. Like risotto and like a cheese board and like a beer and just like weird shit and like a tiramisu. And I'm like trying to lean over the food plate.
No, it sounds like you've been seduced by Haskell's cheese board.
It was exactly how I imagined it. And I was like reaching over this this thing of food, trying to like stroke his belly, and he was like, oh, and like pushing me off, trying to read his book while
get your elbows in risotto.
He was reading his book with his left hand while spooning in risotto with his right, and I was like, are you gonna like at least kiss me? He was like, I'm fucking reading, okay? And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill him. We're gonna have to get a divorce. But it was fine. In 48 hours we straightened it all out.
Because the thing with it was that it wasn't even a sprint. There was like a no sex marathon. There was no sprint. But what is the legislation for people just making it up? And what they do is it's called a something story, where it's complimentary enough. It's bullshit, but it's complimentary enough that they're pretty much sure that you won't sue them because it makes you in a good light. The only problem is that everybody runs with it. So much so that Robbie Williams and Ada Williams did a did a piss take of it. They're both lying in bed, and they went, Robbie's going, did you read about James Haskell and Chloe's Madeley sex marathon? And they went, we haven't seen each other for a while. Do you want to? And just they're about to kiss, they both reach for a bag of crisps or chocolate bars, eat, and they go, nah.
We would have done it with grenade bars.
Obviously, let's do it. We need to do that.
But I just wanted to eat. I didn't. Someone said to me that in the papers before I went in there, they went, they called me up because they took my phone away. I got the weirdest things. You landed in Australia, chaperone got in the car with me, sat there, so you got one phone call. I have to go. I love Chloe. I love you. Like, it's great.
And you want to phone me, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. I couldn't get through.
Stand here right away. Wait. You mean James?
And I was like, Chloe. Chloe, I love you. We're gonna miss you. You're amazing. While this woman's watching me, it's the weirdest thing to be kind of. And I'm sure some people will have struggled. I don't really care. I'm very affectionate with Chloe. But I said that they confiscated my phone. Then I had to do media, and the first thing they went was, what's going to happen if you get horny? You're going to have to go behind a rock. And I was like, first of all, why are we talking this absolute crass bollocks? I know it's for the paper. I wind them up, the journalists. I'm like mugging them off. But I didn't have one sexual thought the entire time I was in the jungle.
But that's normal when you're on a starvation diet. All your hormones crash, ergo your libido is non-existent.
So when I came back out, I was so happy to see my wife, but what I wanted to do was like cry into her hair, eat risotto, read and actually read a book. I was sick to death of talking to people.
And also, I guess, the first time, I guess, for weeks and weeks and weeks, you've not got a camera pointing at you 24/7. Yeah. Do you forget about that? Or do you become...
No, everyone says you do. It's bollocks. They don't. There were a lot of people in there.
I don't know. I think there were moments where you definitely.
I never thought they would use the bit where I said it involves in this circus of stupidity and I'm too intelligent to debate an undebatable question. You never thought
they would use you having a psycho fit.
I mean, it wasn't a psycho fit. It wasn't a psycho fit. It was the fact that people were debating an undebatable question. So the question was, what percentage of people, adult males think, or adults think that Christmas is a wonderful time of the year? And people were going, well, some people don't celebrate Christmas. I'm like, no. There's no details to that question. That is it. There's no.
No, but you guesstimate the statistic when you first assess the.
You assess it, but people wanted to bring out pie charts.
No, listen, just so we're clear, your anti-debate craziness does not apply, especially when everyone's bored and they finally got
Chloe, they were just bumbling around the dark. And the worst bit was, I held my tongue because they've done it every week, debating this undebatable question, bollocking on about I think people in China might. It's like, fuck off, you don't know where these people come from. Just guess. So we have a talk, everyone goes, here's my opinion, everyone speaks, beautiful, everyone deserves an opinion. And then when it comes to voting, there's 10 people in camp, and I'm lying lying there and I'm thinking, I can listen to these fucking people talking about this stuff. And they're debating it, going on and on and on. Andrew's going on, people are going on, Kate's blathering on. And so basically, they go there and there's 10 people. They go, right, who votes for A? 6 people vote for A, right? And then they go to B. 5 people vote for B. I was like, I'm thinking, no, that's 11, right? And someone goes, oh, it's 11. They go again. There's 5 people vote for A, 6 people vote for B. And then someone goes, well, Kate goes, sorry, I changed my mind. I'm like, so I sat up and I'm like, fucking hell, it's not that hard. What I would have really said in real life in a team sport is, fuck you idiots doing. Just fucking get on with it. Like, it's not hard. It's fucking simple. Who votes for A? But I calmly went, it slightly falls away. I went calmly. I went, it's not hard. Vote. It's very simple. What are the numbers? Well, we've got all the time in the world. Kate, we have all got the fucking time in the world. But the sooner you answer it, the sooner the food arrives or doesn't arrive, and we can get on with our life. And I don't have to hear 10 people blathering on and misvoting. They couldn't even get the vote right. Like, so what is the point?
And the wagon wheel's getting stale in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly, right. The cream tea we were promised, the half a Jacob's cream cracker. So then I said, right, how many people for A? How many people for B? Right, B's lost it, and I sat back down. And then I thought, I've lost my shit here. So I walked off the toilet, right, and Andrew's come to console me, and I was like, he's one who loves to debate. He wanted to like get a PowerPoint presentation, pie charts, talk about demographics in country, unheard of countries, what they're doing in Kathmandu.
He knows everything about
he's so
everything.
intelligent.
Good news is, it sounds like you're over it.
No, but I'm not over it, because then I said to people, I'm not part of the circus of stupidity.
Shuffling your feet like a little boy.
No, because it's so irritating. And then the best part was,
to start now.
I said this is so. I said
can we
circus.
Get some popcorn? Have we got popcorn?
I said this is circus of stupidity, but I said I'm too intelligent. Meaning, not that I thought everyone in the camp was stupid, but I was like, I'm not silly enough to debate an undebatable question.
We're working on this, guys.
We're not. But then I'm in a team sport, so
look at you. You're all hands and legs.
No, because I'll explain. Right, in a certain environment. In a certain environment.
Sorry, keep going. I've just got something coming. Hang on a second.
So in a certain,
that's the one. Yeah, lovely. Here we go. Keep going.
Right. Yeah.
No, keep talking.
Right. So in a certain environment, right.
Did you call this pull the pin because James is coming on and
Yeah.
you're going to start a debate with him?
In a certain environment.
I mean, there's not much left.
It's a bit stuff.
You fucking listen to me. This is my
important
podcast.
stuff. It's important stuff. We all really care about this.
Anyone
else?
I've always wanted popcorn.
Sweet.
I don't want
It
to
is
stale
sweet.
popcorn.
We don't
I don't like
popcorn.
sweet popcorn.
We never asked. You just said give me some
Ridiculous.
popcorn.
Sorry, James is still arguing.
Sorry,
Continue
still
with
talking.
himself.
No, but
Everyone's probably switched off.
Let me explain. No, let me explain, because there is two things. If you ever watch the program The Island, right? If you ever watch the program The Island,
It's only your own time you're wasting.
they get all these contestants right on there, and they go and try and find, instead of going and set up camp, hunting things, doing everything else like that, there's always some people go, let's go to the most pretty place. They go to the prettiest part of the beach, right? So they go to the beach, waste all day, drink all their water, and someone goes set up camp, and you get this one dick at the back that goes, who put you in charge, right? Those difficult arsey people. Okay, it's so annoying that in life, right, if we all sat down and said, what are we doing today? And you went, we're going to go for dinner, we're going to go this. At some point, someone has to sit up out of all of us and go, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But no one fucking does. And I was the one who did that. And I'm the one blamed because I'm a bully. No, I made a decision. I was efficient. And we fucking got the prize. And I did it. And I completed it. I'm not over it. Fuck, I'm a celeb.
Right, can we edit all that out?
No.
Right, so
No, you will not.
I've still. I know we're really pushed for time.
We're not.
So life's over on planet Earth. Just to
Clearly
look at that island.
He's readjusted.
Yeah,
he's
clearly,
back there.
yeah. So, what 3 things are you going to put in your spaceship to get you out of here, and why? And don't say each other, because that's a shit answer.
What 3 things are you going to put in your spaceship to get back? So we're back on planet Earth.
No, life's over. Really, you've got. You're leaving.
3
you're
things
leaving.
in a spaceship to get you
It
out.
was like James' Island analogy. I thought, what 3 things basically can't you do without then?
Okay.
Obviously Christmas.
A lifetime supply of grenade bars.
Oh, good answer. I wouldn't have gone that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A seasonal wardrobe.
As in a Christmas wardrobe. Seasonal wardrobe.
To cover me for whatever planet I end up on, be it Mars in my bikini.
Okay, and you can have one more thing.
I feel like Jupiter's cold, right? Or did I just
You're never going to make it
that
there.
up? So then I eat some kind of Eskimo setup. And everyone always says this on Desert Island Disc, so I'm going to take a machete. And I'll leave the Bible, but thanks.
Kill James
Why
if he
are
comes
you
with
machete
you.
in space?
Well, because I might need to hack into the planet I've landed on to find water or some kind of bacteria that I can grow into a fungi.
You know a lot
that I
about
can...
growing about bacteria, do you?
Sounded. I'm sorry.
Some of
but
your
that
fridge
answer
management
was-
has been grown a few things.
I'm hurt you've not
One
taken
of us
the,
is managing the fridge.
it's true.
Someone's got to do it.
I'm hurt you've not taken the chocolate cock, to be honest.
I
But never
know.
mind,
It's
never mind. We'll be
almost
taking
as
that
if I
back.
can't wait to be rid of it.
What are you taking, James, other than the
I'm
chocolate
gonna
cocks?
take
You've got
the
two
complete
left.
works of Harry Potter. I love I've made out like it's complete works of Harry Potter for entertainment. My laptop, because you've got movies, music and everything else on there. And I would take... what else would I take? The Victoria's Secret models. Because you said I couldn't take my wife. Look at her face.
I'll tell you what.
Can I just
right.
rewind and can I swap my machete for Tom Hardy?
You can have the next question I got, which is when James is being a knob,
Which is always.
How do you refrain from punching him in his little sausage face? That's from all of us.
What do you do?
I drink wine instead.
Okay, and actually, so I've got another one then as well. Lots of people. This is the most popular question we've actually been asked. So this will be again. It is actually for you, Chloe. Why hasn't Alan Barrett been on the podcast yet? Is it because he's such a fountain of knowledge? He'll make all the other guests look stupid and/or inferior. I didn't write that.
So shall I tell you? Actually, there is actually a story behind this. So we do 10 episodes of the podcast, right? So I put forward the 10 people that I want on it. Yes,
I was
you
the
were
first
on my
5.
list. Yeah, you were. You actually were. You were
I wasn't really.
You were in the first 3.
She can't escape, so I'm just going to
You were in the
embarrass her.
first 3. I had you, James, and Dave
That
Kelly.
James?
This James.
You're- really?
Yeah, but you were, and
Don't
then
get him on Christmas. Do
my.
not talk about whatever you do.
Don't talk about it. Okay, fine. And
I
then
mentioned it once. I think I've gone.
just don't pretend it never happened. And then my publishers come back with their 10, and then they choose 5 of mine, and I choose 5 of theirs, and that's how it works. They fund the whole podcast. So that's why you got cut. You got cut by Penguin Random House. Oh,
Do you know what it is? Alan,
I'm sure I'll bounce back.
Even though,
I think you'll be okay.
even though the actual story of Grenade is like incredible, one of like hard work,
Oh my
and
God,
like
it's
going to the end, you do come across a bit like the Donald Trump of like the supplement world.
No, it's
of like
because they only wanted my publishers. I love them, but these are the people who told me a weightlifting book was too niche to sell.
Yeah,
they
so you
only
published the wrong lot,
want
basically.
celebrities.
Yeah.
They literally only want celebrities. Although they did
And then Alan
agree
is a
to
celebrity
2 of
in his
your-
own house and mine.
But they did agree to 2 Grenade athletes, Tyrone and Hayley. They were like, oh, they sound interesting. Let's get them on.
I love the fact that Hayley and Tyrone have trumped in
Tyrone
terms of-
was actually on their list as well, and I'm actually interested.
we did a podcast actually with Carl Locker and Tyrone. He's actually quite interesting.
I think people quite like. He's
they do
very
like him.
inspiring.
He's very inspiring, and obviously clearly I'm not. But never mind, moving on. Yeah.
I find you very inspiring. That's how we became friends. Remember?
how- yeah.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
and
It
we
is.
heard you do a speech, and I was like, "He's my idol."
Yeah, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so one of the questions that we've been asked, and I know the answer to this thing, hopefully you do, is why Grenade? Why are you working with us? I've no idea why we work with you, to be honest. But so why Grenade, guys?
I mean, I think for me, I actually had my own supplement range for a period of time, and I think you guys were always so unique in what you did. And I think when we went to listen to you speak at that event, which I was speaking at as well, I thought it was really inspiring, the story. I thought the uniqueness of what you did, but actually it was the quality of the products that I really was enthralled by, and the fact that the majority of it was informed sport tested, so I knew I could trust it. I knew that what you were selling was reputable. I had every confidence that it was going to be perfect for me for my career, but it had the right amount of tailored products, but also you'd got stuff that was flavoured and tasted nice. A lot of people, and this is what Chloe's books kind of teach as well, is that eating healthy doesn't have to taste boring and taste like shit. And actually having supplements can be flavoursome. I mean, those the salted caramel peanut bars are the nicest things I've ever tasted in my life. They're better than any chocolate bar out there. And I think the ability to have the nutritionally balanced product that was tested, and also working with you guys that were forward thinking. Chloe and I don't want to work with people that aren't going to put us into a good situation and do fun things. On our activation, driving around in a tank in London, what a unique thing. Me getting a chance to drive a tank. All these kind of innovations and constant products, and going from being somebody that started with one product out of a garage to then being in 70,000 places in the UK, walking into every supermarket now and seeing Grenade bars being the best-selling chocolate bar in the UK is massive. And I think that was a perfect association with us. And I think Chloe and I felt we were represented. We could be fun with like-minded people, really. And it was it was backed up by good products and good intelligence and good nutritional value, I thought.
Yeah, agreed.
That's the first time you've ever agreed on anything.
That was a cop-out.
No, well, I thought it had to be 30 seconds.
Nothing's ever 30 seconds with me. I dictate the time.
Yeah, other than sex.
I grew up in a TV environment, so 30 seconds is 30 seconds, okay? I think that it was really, really nice, actually, in that when I started doing what I do now, coming from the background in TV that I came from, and actually finding my passion and my interest in something that I was qualified in, I kind of made a really conscious decision never to say yes to anything again that I didn't believe was a great product, idea, whatever it might be in any context. And then it was really actually organic and natural in that Grenade was one of 2 supplement companies that I used because I could bake with your protein powder, and you can't do that with every protein powder, as people know. It goes cardboardy or like tears like paper. It's not nice. But Grenade does it. Products don't do that. And I always loved the bars. But you were the only one of those 2 that James could actually have as well, because it was all informed sport tested, which is a really good sign. Obviously, that you guys are doing everything pretty fucking well. And then, so that was natural. That was the case for a while. Actually, and you were the first pre-workout I ever took and the only one that I ever actually really, really liked and got on well with. And then...
There's a little bit of me in every product, I like to say.
That's why. and then we heard you talk at that supplement event, and you guys stood up and you talked about how you got where you were and what you'd achieved. And obviously I am nowhere near the kind of the size that Grenade is as a company at all whatsoever, but that I could see so many parallels in you being passionate and wanting to just take every little step at a time that you could to grow something and grow something and grow something. And I found it really inspiring. And I immediately told you when you came back to the table, like, oh my God, that was amazing. And then we became really good friends. And then it just felt like, to be honest, the biggest compliment in the world that a really reputable, highbrow protein company that is also really mainstream, and it's rare to have both, a good product that is mainstream simultaneously, wanted to work with us. I was like, this is the biggest compliment ever. And, frequently when I'm talking to your team, and they're like, oh, sorry if this has changed or that, they're really great to work with. And I'm always like, no, I love working with you guys. It's such a compliment. Like, I want to try and work around you. And so, yeah, it's
nice
fantastic.
As well because you guys never worked with ambassadors before. You hadn't needed them. You had people who were part of your family, like Grenade J, and people who've done different stuff. But also, I love that, you sent Jenny, who's the real mastermind behind it.
Oh, obviously.
We all know it's Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny's the real power behind the
If
power.
I'm Donald Trump, who's Jenny then? What's she?
Jenny's like that mad woman who tells everybody.
You're mad, I like that.
Tells everyone that God's will that Donald Trump does. Have you seen her? She backs Donald Trump up and everything.
Hillary Clinton.
Basically says that it's God's will and no, and that she blames everything, and she's like the secret power behind the power. Jenny's like that woman, except not a religious fanatic.
But Jenny's seen the amazing thing about Jenny is that she's seen all of us have meltdowns, and she just never bats an eyelid. I'm like, and she's like, okay.
But anyone that control you, Alan.
No, she does. She rings me. She's like, I'm having a meltdown. It's all right. Don't worry.
Anyone who can walk into a room and go, Alan, enough of the shit chat, Brad. We've got to get on. We've been here for 2 hours behind schedule. But when you sent her down with 34 birthday protein bars before I'd even signed the deal to Wasps, drove her to make her drive down who I'd never met before. She turned up with 30. I mean, the birthday bars. Just a nice touch like that. That's the kind of familiarity and touch that you just wouldn't get with other people. And you wanted to work with both of us together.
Yep.
Whereas some companies just some bizarre reason see us both as separate entities. Chloe doesn't want to do TV stuff, but we've said together if we have got an opportunity, we'd love to present together and do
which
stuff.
we might be getting soon, by the way, which would be very fun.
Yeah. This morning, see you later.
My parents are doing that again next week.
Are they? Yeah. We'll get rid of Schofield and Holly
Anyway,
Willoughby.
back to Grenade.
Yeah, anyway, that's why we're with Grenade, yeah? Buy the bars.
And so I'm filling up. Yeah. And just from my perspective.
More shit, or no?
With more shit, exactly, even more shit. But just from my perspective as well, and couldn't agree with what you guys said, so thanks, that's really kind, but couldn't agree more with what you've said in terms of, the authenticity and whatever. But from our perspective as well, and James, when you said earlier, you don't feel you're a celebrity and whatever, we don't feel we're successful, we feel we're just getting started. But actually, so the humility we love, and actually I just really like being around people that I like, trust, respect, who are brilliant at what they do and are serious about what they do, but don't take themselves seriously, because that's kind of us. We make really serious product, but we're just kind
Having
of us,
fun
and we love
with
the fact
it.
you guys are just you. So that's why we love working with you. So thanks for everything you do. We love you guys.
Oh, Team Grenade. Hashtag Team Grenade.
I like the fact that I'm the Donald Trump of the supplement industry.
Yeah,
I'm taking that as a massive
But you're actually
compliment.
not. You're actually not, because you are really intelligently set. But it's just the general demeanour.
It's
like
the orange branding.
yeah.
It's all the orange
Actually,
branding.
it's like you're a tyrant of the supplement world. Just this like unstoppable force that just basically rewrite. You're like,
Just does what he wants.
I probably know more about supplements than anybody out there. It's like terrible impression.
I think the last
You
compliment you
sounded
gave
like
me.
the Home Alone slowdown when he's like, the father. Anyway.
the father.
I think the last compliment you gave me, I'm not sure it was a compliment to be fair, but so other than the Donald Trump one, was you said I was like Mr. Bean on gear.
Yeah.
I think. Well,
Jesus.
Wait, let's do a poll on Instagram stories. Does Alan come across like Mr. Bean on gear?
Who knows? Yeah, another unanswerable question. I think we probably should end it there, to be perfectly honest. But guys, you've been utter legends. Thanks so much for coming in. We could honestly talk to you all day. So we'll have to do another one. Maybe another one just on the entire, just on Christmas, to be honest.
Just on I'm a Celebrity.
just on
like a therapy session for James.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks so
Evidently
much.
needed.
And guys, that was Pull the Pin with me, Alan Barrett. If you like what you've heard today, then hit the subscribe button below. There's plenty more business, brand and banter where that came from. Thanks for tuning in.